I'm Jake Johnson, and my last meal would be a vegan Chicago diner-style cheeseburger with fries and a homemade Coke. A New Orleans-style shrimp po' boy sandwich, Omakase sushi, and a vegan hot fudge sundae for dessert.
Every person has exactly two things in common. We all gotta eat and we're all gonna die. Today we're joined by writer, actor, and prolific neon sign hanger. You might recognize him as Nick Miller from New Girl. Jake Johnson, welcome to the show, man.
A nice shout out for the neon signs.
I'm proud of the work that you've done in your career, on camera and off camera.
Thank you.
So you've recently made your directorial debut with Reliance. Yeah. My first question, how did it feel to get manhandled by Boban Marjanovic's gigantic catcher's mitts?
You know, it's a really good question. Way more intense than I expected.
Yeah.
So Boban was actually who I thought of for the part. I kind of wrote it with him in mind.
No way.
And then when we started casting, I reached out to him, I think through Instagram. And on set, we were talking about the stunt, and I was like, so you just kind of push me like this? And he's a gentle guy.
Yeah.
But he's, I think he's 7'7".
Uh-huh.
And a professional athlete.
That's too tall for a human, in my opinion.
Massive guy. And then, we're doing the thing, and he's got to push me against the wall and throw me down. And his hands hit me. And I hit the wall, and it was a shock. And I had to do a thing where I was like, I got the protection on the back after. Everything changed, because I'm like, he's going at 10% speed.
Yeah.
But this is a giant, and he's very strong, and I physically can't handle this, man.
If you ever had NBA dreams before Reliance, I don't know if they're going to be fulfilled now.
I think when I realized 5'10" was the max,
fair.
I was like, this is just not the game for me.
We're eating your last meal today. Is that something you've ever thought about before?
I just remember the end of life and watching my old man go through it. The last thoughts would be like, you know what I'm thinking?
Applebee's.
Yeah. Something delicious to put in this failing meat sack. It was like, how about some like ice and maybe a popsicle? So mine, the turn of it, the vegan of it all is, I didn't realize, but I was doing press for Let's Be Cops with Damon Wayans Jr. And then we were flying from Arizona, and I woke up and I had what looked like bed bug bites all over my body. And Damon called me out. He's like, bed bugs, 100%. Nikki Thomas, the writer, was like, man, you are like infected. It's disgusting. So I sat on the plane. I kept apart from them. We got home. My wife met me in the driveway. I ripped off my clothes in the driveway in Los Feliz, threw everything in the garbage, threw my luggage away. She gave me some clothes. We went to the urgent care, and I go, I got bed bugs. What should I do? And he goes, that's not bed bugs. It's an allergy. And they tested, and they found out it was a dairy allergy, and my body was reacting to that and to pizza, and it was a wheat allergy, and it was like, it created this whole world of change.
Wow.
But what happened was, I fell in love with vegan-style Chicago food. Because I'd be like, vegan pizza's still good. It's just a change.
All right, Jake, for course number one, we have the vegan double cheeseburger a la Chicago diner. We got some ketchup, mustard, pickles. You got grilled onions on yours.
Yep.
We have some fresh homemade fries right here. And then we have, you requested, the official language was, can the Coke be some healthier version with no sugar or terrible chemicals? And so that is exactly what we made. We're calling this Let's Be Coke as an homage to Let's Be Cops.
I like it.
We have made a homemade sugar-free Coke, a little bit of balsamic vinegar, some Chinese cinnamon in there, a lot of clove, about 12 to 13 different aromatics, lemon zest, lime zest. We've done the whole damn thing.
Fun.
We carbonated and bottled it ourselves.
What a blast. Thank you.
It might taste somewhat like Coke.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, cheers.
Cheers, man.
Definitely got the setup of it. It doesn't taste like Coke.
Doesn't taste like Coke, but well, it's not Coke. It's Let's Be Coke.
Yeah.
It's willing itself to be Coke.
I don't know what that is.
Listen, I'm sorry. You said make Coke without Coke
agree.
is the terrible chemicals.
Agreed. I'm gonna say I like it.
And I think we can still salvage this relationship if we just give each other a little bit of grace throughout this,
Now I get the premise.
But tell me about the double cheeseburger and why this means a lot to you.
Growing up in Chicago, kind of every meal, at least for me, was a cheeseburger and fries. I grew up across the street from a McDonald's. And so I went there so often that I knew everybody who worked there. I used to, when I was in 4th grade, I used to play basketball with the workers on their break.
Oh, hell yeah.
We all used to go to Sacred Heart Church and play basketball at the outdoor gym. And I didn't realize until my 20s that a cheeseburger and fries and a Coke wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
I just thought that was food.
Sure.
And the game has changed. These Impossible Burgers are good now.
They are.
And so, yeah, that's why this is. And my mother and I growing up, she owned a junk shop. And so a lot of that is you're going to different neighborhoods in the city, you're negotiating, you're trying to make deals. And Chicago diners used to be everywhere. So in the 80s, in every corner was a dive bar and a diner. And so going in there, you knew the cheeseburger was gonna be good.
The cheeseburger is the universal food language.
The best.
Yeah, well, dig in, man.
Let's do it. I hope I hate it.
I hope you do too. I hope you hate everything.
I hope there's a turn.
Okay. We're gonna end this interview in the next 20 minutes. You're just gonna scream the name of your movie.
Like that. I'm like, what the You said this was a great show. What are we talking about here?
Tell your friends.
Excellent.
Pretty great, all right.
Pretty great, man.
One of the funnier things about the Impossible and Beyond patties, they taste almost more like fast food burgers than actual meat does.
I agree with you.
In Self-Reliance, a big theme in the movie is this need for almost just rote human connection. It's not even like a specific kind of human connection, it's just any human connection.
Yes.
How did the pandemic affect your own relationship with understanding your need for that?
I was writing a movie with my buddy Joe Swanberg, which was going to be in Chicago about these morning news people, and a guy basically has a nervous breakdown on air, blah blah blah. And I was starting to write it, and I thought, like, we're in a pandemic. I'm not going to make this.
Yeah.
I'm just writing this for no one and for nothing. And I thought, if I'm still going to put these hours into writing, I want to write the dream project. And Self-Reliance for me is the dream project. I was just doing a event for Spider-Verse last night, and I was with Jason Schwartzman. And we were talking, and he said, like, are you going to make another one? And honestly, I was kind of like, no. I wanted to make this one.
Yeah.
And this is how I wanted it to be. So I'm like, in terms of the pandemic and the being away from people, I really missed everything. I missed the little interactions you have throughout the day that you take for granted. Comedically, that's why I got into this game. I'll give anything for the annoying waiter or the annoying waitress. I miss those bits. And so I started going back to this movie, and then that's what happened.
Yeah, those little annoying moments in life, as somebody who goes to a public gym, you encounter them constantly, but I love them. I crave them every single day because it makes you feel something, and that's better than nothing.
Exactly right.
And Natalie Morales in the movie has a line where she says, you were so afraid of feeling that you were already dead.
Yeah.
That line meant a lot to me. Are you somebody who has gone through life feeling that numbness, feeling like you're already dead in a way?
I have gone through life for a long time with the desire not to feel stuff, thinking that was the goal. And the goal was you push through anything, and the idea of getting through stuff was the win. And I used to do a thing that my wife teases me about, where she would go like, how you doing? And my answer would always be, how am I supposed to know?
Fair, honestly.
Right? Because you're like, oh, I'm just doing the shit. I'm doing the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how am I feeling felt so irrelevant when I was growing up. And then culturally there was a change, and people's feelings from the younger generation seemed to really matter.
Yeah.
And people of my generation, myself included, thought like, what? And then it started making me ask the questions of like, well, how am I feeling? And I realized like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And then I've been changing into going more like, oh, you're supposed to try to feel everything while we're here.
Yeah.
And so that was the kind of, Tommy's character wasn't feeling it, and this game made him go, even though it was scary and all this, he was at least alive and experiencing it.
Because it seems like part of Self-Reliance, it's like an obvious critique of the dystopian reality TV show era. But do you think that everything is just cyclical and ultimately the cream rises to the top?
The strike reminded me of like, oh yeah, like we don't have to play by these old corporation rules. We are just going direct to the audience and going to direct to consumer. And if you have that relationship and you're able to make stuff that people like and you like making it, I'm like, man, isn't it nice not to do 40 meetings? Isn't this great? And so that's where my optimism kind of reads. I started up doing, when I came up, it was all theater. So everything was writing stuff ourselves, putting it on. We would rent theater spaces in New York. My buddy Oliver Raleigh and I had a two-man show for years, and we would rent a theater for $200 and hand out flyers in Times Square and try to get people to come and perform directly for people. And they either laughed or they didn't laugh. And that immediacy and that connection was so exciting and has been lost for me in the last 15 years of my career.
Would you say that you're having more fun in your career now? Maybe not at the beginning when you were with Raleigh doing that, but at least more than like 10 years ago. Like, has that reignited
That's
a sense of
interesting.
fun and passion?
Yes. But it's different fun because that was so fun because it was the childhood dream.
Yeah.
So New Girl was so fun. Let's Be Cops was so fun. Jurassic World, all of that era was so fun because I couldn't believe it was real life. I couldn't believe I was on like a soundstage and we were doing this thing and doing table reads and the president of the network was there and we're all nervous and I'm like, whoa. And then guest stars coming in where you're like, you're now gonna go do a scene with Rob Reiner and I'm like, what is happening? So that world was really fun. But this world right now feels, I don't know, it's more, I do feel more excited. I do feel more into it. And I have been getting, the last few years, less and less passionate about the game and more passionate about like life and other things. But it's sad because this is my hobby.
Yeah.
And your hobby is your passion.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not gonna like get into fishing. My body's too weird to get like into race car driving. So I'm like, what am I gonna do for the next 10 years?
5'10" isn't that short. I mean, basketball, you can play point guard, you can play point guard.
I got a heavy bottom, my guy. This frame doesn't work in a tight car, trust me. It's gross. Getting in and out is gross.
Jake, course number 2, we have a New Orleans style fried shrimp po' boy.
Looks great.
Yeah, on a classic New Orleans roll, a little bit of remoulade on there, lettuce, tomato, lemon on the side if you want it. Man, what's the story? What's your connection to New Orleans?
I did 21 Jump Street. I was there for 3.5 weeks to film 2 scenes. And that's how I got to know Rob Riggle. He became my kind of buddy down there. But what we would do on our days off is we would go to the Harris Casino and gamble. Have some drinks, and then eat local food. And I'd never had a real po' boy before. And having it down there, I was like, oh, everything changed.
Oh yeah, it's a different game, man.
It's excellence. So that was it. That was the
please, man, dig in.
No. That's perfect.
That's really good. You made a movie called Win It All about gambling, some sort of that addiction to losing. You also were a professional blackjack player, but not in the way you'd expect.
Yeah, I worked at a casino down in Inglewood, which is now SoFi Stadium, I think.
But what have you learned about life from gambling?
A lot. My mother used to be a professional player.
Oh, wow.
She used to play poker. But what I've learned about, first of all, working in casinos and gambling there, the reason I wanted to make Win It All was a lot of gamblers are just doing it to lose. The thing that I learned is that's what I had. And I realized that I was playing poker one night. I was down at the Commerce about 3 a.m. on like a Tuesday. This was pre my kids being born when I could still do that stuff. So fun. So fun. Crazy fun. And I was playing, and there was some guy at the table who was older, and he played a shitty hand. He shouldn't have done what he was doing. And he ended up sucking me out, and I lost. And I was yelling at him, and I was yelling at him of why he played that way. And then I realized it was like a pretty empty casino, and I was the guy yelling where everybody was looking. And then I walked to an empty table, and my ATM had been cashed out, not in total, but I just couldn't take out any more funds that night.
Yeah.
And I was at zero. I had just blown up at like an old man, which does not feel great.
No, it's one of the things in life you try and avoid.
You really feel like not a great human. And then I sat there and I thought like, it was almost this sense of calm where I was like, now I can go home. And I was like, that shit's dark. When I look at other aspects of my life, I'm like, well, I don't want to play to lose. I don't want the story to be, I lost, but it was over.
Yeah.
So even going to like this hobby or this business, you can play this game to lose, and you watch people do it all the time. And what I really learned from gambling is it's so much better to win. Just win quietly and relax. You don't have to win it all. You don't have to be the top, but just like get your win, enjoy playing, and go home.
It's so funny because anything you've said in any interview about the idea of success, I can't tell if it is the most sane view of success or the most insane view. It's like you fully... No, but I mean, it's like you've fully gone clear, like you're almost past it. It seems like most people get into acting to try and become rich and famous, whereas you tried to get just rich and famous enough to continue acting.
I think that's right. Yeah. Well, more than just acting, continue doing what I like. If you're gambling and you don't have enough chips, the only way to get your chips is you have to go all in. You have to really gamble on hands that are not good enough to go all in. So if we're playing against each other and you have all the money and I have less and I have a medium hand, I have to act like I'm strong. As an actor, as a writer, as a director, if you don't have any money and you have to pay your rent, you're desperate and you will do anything for that win. You're not doing the stuff that you're supposed to be doing. So once I started making money as if those were my chips, I thought like, I just need enough so I don't have to play desperate, I don't have to chase. I could play the hands that I want to play, the way that I want to play them. And that means if I think I'm beat and everybody else thinks I'm winning, I can just fold. And people go like, well, that was a stupid fold. And I go, I know, but I think I was beat. And so there's certain career paths.
You would know better than you if
but
you're
it's me.
beat.
That's exactly. And even if I'm not, if it's TV and underneath you see the camera and you bluffed me, God bless you, man. You won that hand. I'm not that worried about this hand. I'm worried. I want to keep playing. I don't have a creative North Star anymore. There used to always be one. So I think the goal is do what you like to do, hopefully have an audience that'll come with you, and do it for as long as you can, or until you want to stop.
All right, so on New Girl, you talked about having hacky guest directors come in and give hacky notes to people because they weren't sort of part of the family.
Yeah.
Did you ever find yourself giving those hacky notes?
What I hate about television is you have your same crew, your same people, your same vibe. You guys do it every day. You know each other. You know where people shine. You know when someone's in a bad mood the second you see them. Every week there's a new visitor who's the boss. It drove me nuts. Now certain directors come in and they just have this wild skill. They just fit right in and help. Well, other directors come in and would go like, you guys doing the table here? Yeah, we're gonna shoot that way. And you go, no, we always shoot this way.
Yeah.
And they go, that's prettier. And then the crew starts moving in that direction and you go, this is where we always shoot. Like for example, on the couch of that, on that show in the living room, there's like a place where the legs would go up. And on the pilot, I claimed it. We're shooting long hours. We're shooting long hours. And so in rehearsal, little actors tip, when they say like, let the actors do what they want, find a comfortable spot if you're gonna shoot long. So Max was running around, doing his thing. Lamorne was like politely sitting. Zoe's on like this, she's got to stand up because she had a monologue. And so I sat down in a spot with my legs up, and then I think my character would be drinking a soda water, right? Gotta have something to drink. Sure. So I ended up sitting there so much over the years that on the couch there was a crease where my butt cheeks were.
Unreal.
For real.
You can track the way your body changed based on the indent.
Not great. And so, but the long story short of it is we would all of a sudden be there, we'd get to our spots, we'd all be talking, the operators, everybody knew each other so well. So we were going over the scene, Zoe's saying I might do this, you're doing the shorthand, you're figuring it out, and the director would come in and go like, all right, Max, you sit here. And I'm like, on my butt groove? No way, my guy.
Just because you have visitation rights doesn't make you my dad.
Exactly right. You're just Steve, okay? My dad loves me.
You ever had a sushi chef with pigtails and fake nails?
No.
Well, welcome to Mythical.
Say it on the goddamn fucking wait, run it back! Are we roll! You fools!
Told you, this is my first time.
Everybody shut the up!
All right, Jake, for course number 3.
Great laugh to
Thanks so much. You got to start with a laugh. That's how people know you're having fun.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and I'm gonna be guiding.
Too soon, Nicole!
Come in quicker. He said faster. That's the only director's note he knows.
Faster!
Okay, we're gonna run it back and we're in. Somebody count me in.
3, 2.
Oh my God, Jake. Course number 3, we have Omakase Sushi.
Hi guys, my name is Nicole. I'm going to be your chef.
You're rushing now. She's rushing now. She's rushing
Slow
through
down.
it.
It's not a
What could she
race.
possibly do? I
Just
don't
be
understand.
yourself.
Okay.
Let's see what we got.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm going to be your sushi chef for the evening, and enjoy what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be really good.
That's pretty good.
It's gonna be really good.
You actually nailed that line.
Enjoy what I'm gonna do was a little weird.
No, I don't know. I was really feeling it.
Honestly, really natural. I don't know what you're talking
Very
about.
kind of mumblecore.
Yeah, something.
I'm in.
I'm into it.
Why did you request an omakase sushi service from a YouTube show?
Because Jillian said, pick your last meal.
That's fair.
And I thought, like, I don't know. I like when I've got a funny story about this where I just went to Austin for Minx at the ATX festival. We went to a Omakase sushi place, and I was gonna take Ophelia, and it was gonna be the two of us. I didn't know what the spot was like. I just knew it was like a speakeasy vibe. She texted, still on the plane, not gonna make it. And I thought like, well, I'd already paid for 2 and you can't cancel. So I'm like, I don't think I can go alone. That's a little bit sad. And then David Walton, he was the best and we were old buddies. He texted, are you here in Austin? Because I am. I think we're in the same hotel. Let's party. And I go, do you want to go on a really romantic sushi date with me? And he said yes. So it was me, him, and then like 3 other couples.
Oh, love
And
that.
we sat and we all got drunk together. It was like an anniversary. You know, they're about to have a baby, another couple, and then me and
Just
David
guys
Walton,
being dudes.
Just 2 dudes. And it ended up being like a total blast. And that chef would sell each meal of what it was, or what each kind of piece of fish was. And I was like, what a blast. So that happened right as she was texting about this.
Love that. Nicole, please.
All right, gentlemen, we have for you amberjack with yuzu and imported Japanese salt.
Delicious.
Thank you so much, Chef Nicole. Chef Nicole, where did you train in Japan?
Like in the
Get
south.
this piece of fish out of here.
Oh, yeah.
In like the south.
In
part
the
of Japan.
south. Well, that sounds lovely. I hear they have great fish down there.
Some of the best I've heard.
That's what I hear.
From the usual really nice.
Pretty
Don't talk with your mouth full, please. That's rude.
She's right. I gotta tell you, they're tough down in the south of Japan.
Yeah.
But they're the best.
We used to have a northern sushi chef here. Fired him on the spot.
Too easy.
Oh, too easy.
Too easy.
Guests were too comfortable.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
yell
like
at
a
her more.
Tough southern Japanese lady. Easy.
In between each course.
Take it easy back there.
Jake, I don't know if you know this. You have a podcast. That's pretty crazy, right? You have a podcast with your friend Gareth Reynolds called We're Here to Help.
Yeah.
So we have had our coworkers write in advice. We're going to do some little rapid fire advice sessions. I'll read off scenarios.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you how the show actually works and why I can't do these.
Go ahead.
Because the caller becomes our story engine.
Yeah.
So when they call in, we get to ask them questions and get deeper into their life. And then the whole bit of it is going back to Chicago bar vibe.
Yeah.
We're not therapists. We're not pretending to be. We're not experts. But if you go to that bar in Chicago, you were saying you go in and you're getting drunk, you can find some random person at the bar. And if you tell them your problems, they'll try to pitch solutions.
Yeah.
That's the premise of the show.
So this is torched salmon with yuzu kosho and homemade shoyu. Enjoy.
Wonderful.
In your second episode titled The Santa Dilemma, you gave advice to somebody who gave a gift to their boss that went unacknowledged. Do you remember what that gift was?
This was the ostrich farm. Yeah.
That's correct. What if I told you that the Ostrich Farm tickets were gifted from somebody in this company to this company, and we have them?
Wait.
Yeah, can we please send in?
You're the guy?
Yeah.
Oh, this
Hi
is a
again.
great bit. Is it really you?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you
Why the did you give that gift and who's the boss?
I thought you were on
not
our
me.
side. I was the caller.
Wait, hold on. This is excellent. On the show, you gave a great thing. So you gave your boss here.
Yes.
Who's the boss?
Not me, a guy named
Okay.
Link.
By the way, we're here to help. Listen to episode 2 right now, then come back to this so I don't have to do the explanation. All right, so then the way it ended that I remember, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Good to see you all again.
this is a wild turn. The way that it ended that I remember is you put the tickets on your boss's desk.
Yes.
He did not respond.
No.
And
They sat there
his-
weeks
so you don't know what happened.
on his desk.
What are you doing?
This guy gave his boss the boss has
It's also my boss.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we all work
Our
for him.
boss.
It's everybody's boss.
Everybody's boss, yes.
By the way, what's his vibe? Oh, you have to say nice.
Yeah, he's quirky.
Okay, quirky.
Quirky is good.
Okay.
Quirky is good.
But he gave, what's the guy's name
Link.
again? Link? Mm-hmm. 4 tickets to an ostrich farm in Solvang, which is a 2.5-hour drive.
Steve. 3.5 from where Link lives.
Yeah, 3 hours. So a 3-hour drive to take his wife and his children, who are, we found out, in their 20s or teenagers,
Around there, yeah.
adults.
Definitely adults, yeah.
I just got spooked. Someone was behind me.
Yeah, no, they're here. The production assistant ninjas
Next?
are always
Yeah.
around, man.
Yes, exactly. Now I'm living self-reliance too. If someone tries to kill me, I'm out. I'm
Oh,
just
you're
gonna
already
fold.
dead,
I'm
man.
gonna
This is
fold.
purgatory.
And so you gave him these ostrich farm tickets,
Yes.
and he never responded.
No.
And what was our final advice to you? Do you remember? It was, oh yeah, it was don't say
Don't bring
anything.
Don't bring it up.
And don't ever do it again.
And no gifts going forward.
Yeah, you're not a gifts guy.
Yes. No.
And if anything, it's a bottle of booze.
Yes.
Or I think the advice was, lean
into
and
it
be
and-
the Ostrich farm guy and give it to everybody.
Everyone, or give it to him every year.
Yes. So where are we at?
Sure. So Link is one of the CEOs of the company.
Okay.
And one of the 2 hosts of the other show.
Okay.
So
Okay. So he has still never mentioned that you gave him the
YouTuber.
tickets.
he did. So he came up to me right after I
After
filmed
we
it.
recorded.
After we recorded,
Okay.
but before it released.
Interesting.
And he cornered me. Just outside of the kitchen here.
Oh, keep going.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, and he said he was going to the area the next week.
So he said.
So he said he might drop by, and then I haven't heard, and I'm not going to ask.
So he cornered you. Was it an aggressive corner? And you can be honest here.
It
little,
was
a little. You paused.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He was looking for his lunch, and I was. in
Why is
charge
he
of his lunch
cornering
that
you if
day.
he's looking for something to eat? Oh, you were in charge of his
Yes,
food.
yes,
So
that day.
he gives you a little bit of a hey, and then he goes, I got the
Where's
tickets.
lunch? Also, I got the tickets.
Was there?
Thank you. It was funny. He said it was funny.
Okay.
So
he saw it as a bit.
yes, he saw it as a bit, which is best case.
Kind of best case.
He didn't fire me.
He didn't fire
Also
you.
best case.
Okay, amazing. And what are you gonna do moving forward?
No gifts, I think.
You are leaning into
Yeah,
this.
and I hope he doesn't see this.
I can tell you what, he's not going to see this. He doesn't
Okay,
watch the
good.
content, which is perfect for me.
yeah.
Good.
Well, congrats, man. That's a happy ending.
Yeah, but thanks for the advice.
Yeah, wonderful.
Cheers. I'm taking this with me.
Cheers.
All right.
Yeah, man, really fun.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Great.
But, I mean,
Amazing.
great guy.
Amazing.
Also, if you need a link, like, not a terrible gift.
For your third course,
Oh, you're still here.
we have Otoro and Ostrich caviar. Please enjoy, gentlemen.
Hell yeah.
Great.
That was great timing and delivery on.
It was
That
perfect. She's killing
good
it.
Stuff. That was good stuff.
That was wild.
Right?
So he's a perfect example of what's really fun about the show.
Yeah.
And it's the callers. And so you set up a premise and then you got funny people coming in and having fun. And that's what's been the most fun for us doing it.
That's something, man.
What do you think of the Bud with it? You're more of a food guy than me.
It's pretty similar to Sapporo. It's like a full-bodied lager. Sapporo, I believe, is a Japanese lager.
This definitely has the Budweiser aftertaste. That's the only thing that makes this different. But if you have a Bud Light or a Miller Lite, you can taste little differences if you go that route. A Budweiser, like for me, an Old Style doesn't have any of that taste.
Yeah. Growing up in Southern California, the IPA thing was like all the rage.
Yeah.
And so when you were like 16, 17, you would like have to
that's a
start
tough
drinking,
start.
IPAs because
heavy.
you already had to act like you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
better
yeah,
than the
yeah,
light
yeah,
beer
yeah.
and like rough upbringing
interesting.
on that.
So the IPA thing had already blown up.
It was, especially
Interesting.
regionally. Oh, there's a show. Holy Jesus Christ, Nicole.
Bone marrow on that.
Unreal. Does this rival the sushi you had in Austin?
It's different.
But it tasted like Coke, right? It tasted like Coke.
I'm enjoying both experiences very much.
Good.
All right, for your final course, we have uni from Hokkaido, some truffle shoyu, and bone marrow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Enjoy.
And why'd you decide to put the bone marrow on top?
Because I'm a little crazy.
You're a little crazy. That's
I
what
like
heard.
it.
In the
It's
south
a
of
really
Japan, you know.
cool touch. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really phenomenal.
You really killed it.
Thanks.
And I've never had a sushi chef with pigtails and the nails.
Welcome to Mythical Kitchen, babe.
Yeah, baby.
Jake, for your final course, we got the dregs of a can of Bud that's up to about 85 degrees, and we got a vegan hot fudge sundae.
Delicious.
Why the hot fudge sundae? Similar Chicago diner style vibes.
Yes. And it just feels like this is a classic, perfect dessert. What's your favorite dessert? Holy shit. That is
I'm a big ice cream guy, but I love like an ice cream cone, like a dipped cone. That'd probably be my favorite. I used to go to this place in the Poconos with the Nana at her lake house up there.
fun.
They had all different kinds of dips. So if I ate all my vegetables as a kid, she'd take me there.
Fun.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge dessert guy now, but I even see like from my kids, the big win is when they get a sweet and what the sweet is. And this to me was the home run as a kid.
Yeah. I want to talk about your relationship with your dad.
Yeah.
One of the most fascinating stories you've told is when he left when you were about 2.5, came back into your life when you were about 17,
Yes.
and he was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
You said you used to operate a lot out of pure spite. And when he wanted to meet you, you would drink his favorite drink in front of him at a bar as a condition of talking to you.
Well, I would always drink his Stolies and I would want to smoke Merritts in front of him. what I thought at the time was I was just doing it because screw you too.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's now sober and in AA, and the whole world's supposed to change, and we're all supposed to be like, so proud of you.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't. I was like, no, you can't skip out essentially from 2 to 17 and then have a good 6 months and have everybody be like, wow, you're so brave.
Yeah, absolution ain't that easy.
I was like, yeah, pass. I realized as I got older, I was like, oh, I was testing him. Because, and this is when you told me your dad passed at 19, I said, like, what a brutal age.
Yeah.
Because you still have so much want for your parents. So even at 40, I think my dad died when I was 44, I'm still like, nah, too soon.
Yeah.
Then I have to be like, I'm 44, buddy. He was 80 almost.
Yeah.
But you go like, oh, that relationship you never wanted to end. Because there's like more you can kind of glean. And I think for me, I wanted so much of him. And when he wasn't around, when he came back, I just wasn't willing to say like, great, I trust you.
Sure.
I was like, no, it's too vulnerable. There's too much want. So I'm going to try to push you away into back to drinking so that I'm able to say, see?
Yeah.
And then when he didn't, after a while, I was like, I'm the piece of shit.
Yeah, you wanted to lose.
Well,
You wanted to lose
and
that relationship.
I wanted him to admit that this AA and this new change was fake. And the real him was the guy who didn't raise me, because that would have been easier. And then when I realized, oh, it's actually he had an addiction and a disease.
Sure.
The real him would have been so great all those years. That was the big turn. And then I finally allowed that kind of in when my kids came.
Yeah.
And then we just had, a blast.
Do you think it's just this general paradox that when you are young enough to nurture those relationships in their prime, you are too stupid to know how to do it? If that makes sense.
When you're young enough to nurture, okay.
So I also grew up. I was super spiteful towards my dad. He was very lonely. He would just kind of like propose to random women in mall food courts.
So he was a carrot. How did he pass?
Went in for surgery when he was 64. Supposed to be relatively low risk and just didn't come off the operating table. But at that time he'd like found a new love, and my stepmom was incredible. And so he had like one great year with her and 1 year where he started to heal. But
when you were growing up, he was in and out. He wasn't really great. He wasn't giving you what you needed.
Exactly. And I always held that against him. And then the minute he died, it was just this huge crush of like, oh, how stupid it ends so fast. Did you feel that even at 44?
Because we had so many good years.
Yeah.
That I was able to do a lot more of that kind of healing. But what I did have was there was a deep part of me that still hated him deep down. And he knew it too. So we were very close, and I'd always say like, I love you, come on. And he'd be like, but you don't. And I'd be like, I do, stop it. I'm just not, I'm different. I don't want to look in your eyes and tell you how much I love you. It's just not this vibe. But deep down, we both knew I was still holding on to a little bit of that anger. And that's what vanished when he died.
I ain't got kids yet. You got kids. You have two twin daughters.
Yeah.
How does your relationship with your dad specifically inform the way that you parent?
Well, I think it's tricky, so it's hard. My dad was a great parent to an adult. And that matters because parenting jobs don't really stop. And that's the kind of crazy thing when you get into it. But in terms of growing up, I can't look to him a lot. I was raised by a single mom, and I grew up believing my mom was my mom and my dad. Yeah. So I would even say it, like if another kid said like, you don't have a dad, I would say, yeah, I do, it's my mom. There you go. Yeah, like, but my mom was both. Yeah. She was tough when she needed to be, she was soft when she needed to be. So I lean on what my mom did. I guess the big thing for me is I don't want to blow these years. Yeah. Damon, who had kids before, said a really funny thing during that era when I was really panicking because they were coming, and he said, no matter how hard you try, your kids are going to find something to hate you for. Sure. And I was like, they're not going to hate me for not being around. They can hate me for my personality. That's fine.
Yeah, generally unlikable.
You can hate me for me. Fair. But you're going to know my ass. And then you can hate that guy.
Most times.
Fine. Yeah. Hate that. But it's not going to be like, I didn't know him. You're going to know me. You don't have to like me, but you are going to know me.
In tradition on the show, we got to ask you, what do you think happens when you die?
I had a thing with my dad, going back to end on this, and we were having a talk about ghosts and all this, and he was like, how the should I know? And then he goes, well, here's the thing, I'm probably going to die before you, so let's make a deal. And I was like, what's the deal? And he goes, and this was before I had gotten on TV and had any kind of power, and he said, when I die, I want to be burned. Take my ashes, break into Wrigley Field, go on, true story, go on the right side of home base as if I was a righty, scatter my ashes there, And if there's any way, I will come at that moment. So I always thought, like, what a clear, like, scientific way of doing that. Like, I'll break into a stadium in the middle of the night. I'll go to jail for this, for sure. Then all I got to do is get his ashes, put it there as if he's a righty, and wait. Well, then I get on TV, things start happening, blah, blah, blah. I get asked to throw out the first pitch at Wrigley Field last summer. So we've been saving his ashes for it. So we get to Wrigley, and I'm sitting there, and I got, you get a jersey when you do that, and they put your last name on. I put his name, Crocco, and then we all used to visit and hang out at his house in Chicago, and it was 425. That was his address. And it was called the 425 Club. We all loved it. So I put 425 on it. I throw out the first pitch, and then you go and you shake hands with like the catcher mascot thing or whatever. And so I walked over, and when I did it, I then went really quickly. I had his ashes in my pocket, put him down on home plate, rubbed the grass, took a second and looked up, and I didn't feel anything. So what that means, I don't know.
Sure.
But I really wanted, if there was gonna be something, I wanted that moment to feel like, oh, and it was a beautiful moment. Mm-hmm. It was great, but I didn't have any answer. So what I really feel is when you die, I don't know yet.
The Cubs are either going to win the World Series very soon, or you've cursed them for another 100 years with those ashes. So we'll see what happens.
What's funny about it, what we didn't realize, and my brother and I do a really in bad form joke, but everyone in my family does my dad's voice.
Yeah.
What we didn't realize is they do a lot of concerts there. So I'll leave messages for my brother and be like, "This is a nightmare. There's a band. I don't even know who this is. This kid's screaming. It's midnight. I hate it here."
You ready to get in the lightning round?
Yes.
Let's do it, man. Other than me, who's the one person, dead or alive, you'd want to share your actual last meal with?
Probably my brother.
Who's the greatest sitcom character of all time?
Sam Malone.
What song do you want to be played at your funeral?
I just heard this bit on the Heavyweight podcast where they were talking about this, and the woman, as a joke, said the song from the Six Flags. So maybe that one. Yeah.
Who do the Bears take with the number 1 overall pick?
So I would probably say, if it were up to me, it depends if we win out, or at least win 3 of the next 4. I think Justin Fields is a winner. I'm liking what he's doing. I would maybe say trade it and get a lot of draft
capital,
yes.
build the trenches.
But I also like this other idea that I heard, that you get a rookie contract for a quarterback, and then you can pay everybody else for the next 5 years.
What's your biggest fear?
Being locked in a box.
Most people say stuff like failure, but no, being locked in a box is way scary.
Failure.
You fail all the time.
Failure's fine.
How often are you getting locked in a box?
Look, if someone's like, not having my dreams come true, fine, form another dream.
Yeah,
Being
sure.
locked in a box?
Oh my God. Yeah.
That you can't get out of a box?
No, quicksand, that's scary.
Yeah, quicksand, 100% scarier than failure.
I grew up thinking that one day I would be captured and tortured.
I did too. Why was that? Well, I saw Platoon too young.
Oh, okay.
So I was really, I saw that and I saw Deer Hunter.
I saw Deer Hunter too, that explains it.
So Deer Hunter, those scenes, when he's in that little, when I say box, what I really mean is a bamboo cage in water up to here with rats.
Yes. I watched Deliverance when I was like 7.
Yes, so that, I mean.
Yeah. This explains a lot about us. Which stunt with Tom Cruise do you feel like you were most gonna die in?
We had to run around this entire building while we were being shot at, and Tom likes everything in a 2-shot. So it was like legit, a city block on a roof, running and jumping over stuff. And we got there that morning and we were walking through it, and he said, just keep up with me. The camera's gonna be in front of us. And I go all right. And I thought they were doing a bit, because he does a lot of jokes. And I was like, yeah. And then I went all right, where are the nets? And the stunt coordinator goes, what are you talking about? And I go, the nets. If I fall off the goddamn building, where's the net that catches me? And he goes, how could we have nets? We're filming it. Well, you would see the nets. And I went and I go huh? And then I go to Tom, well, if we fall off, we can die. And he literally said, well, don't fall off. And I was like, by no means am I planning to fall off when I'm chasing you, you maniac. And that was one where I was like, I don't know how to get out of it. If I said honest to God, I don't feel comfortable, I think I'm still doing it.
Yeah,
So I was like, I think I just have to do this.
Oh, got it. Finally, are you happy?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's close enough.
It's a nice phase.
Jake, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
if you want, ooh, he's furry. If you want to look in that camera right there and deliver your last words.
Please check out Self-Reliance, and we're here to help anywhere you can find your podcast.
As you can see, you've helped so many people, including Chris. He was shaking.
He was shaking.
He was shaking a little bit.
He was shaking.
But he was shaking with good advice. It was like the spirit was flowing through him.
It was a pleasure to meet him.
You're too hot to handle, and so's your bakeware. Get a Mythical kitchen oven mitt available now at mythical.com.